Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your day, your evening, your morning, your week, I hope it's going beautiful. I hope you realize that you are far from a trip from the hospital to the graveyard. You have so much life in front of you and so many miracles are waiting to happen. And I got a great show for you today. The one and only Patricia Lindner. She is an out-of-the-box Magnificence Mentor with a passion for guiding highly powered individuals and groups. Patricia brings over 17 years of experience in teaching, training, coaching, and healing. As a manifesting generator, her boundless energy and creativity shine through, allowing her to address challenges ranging from leadership to creativity and past trauma. Patricia's holistic and integrated approach is a beacon on your path to manifesting your desired reality. She excels in breaking free from outdated patterns and cultural influences, creating tailored experiences that cater to your unique needs. Patricia's calm nature radiates safety and unconditional love, inviting you to liberate yourself from judgment and expectation. Are you ready to embark on a life-changing journey, ladies and gentlemen? Because here we are. Patricia, how are you today?
So first of all, thank you for the beautiful introduction, George. Hello, and how am I? Just by listening to what you said, and you said the boundless energy she has, and right before we hopped on this live stream, I told you the honest answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I'm a manifesting generator.
Yeah.
That's not what I said, but I'm a bit exhausted because
Right.
I didn't have a lot of sleep. It's early in the morning for me, but I am so excited to have this conversation with you. So thanks for having me.
I think it speaks volumes of boundless energy coming from like a long trip. Like whatever happened to you, look at you now. Like you're in fine condition. You look
Yes.
beautiful. You're ready for your day. Like you must have boundless energy.
Yeah. Seems as if.
Fantastic. And that's, I think that's part of it. I think that if we tell ourselves, maybe this is a big part of what we're going to talk about today is that our inner dialogue, what
Yeah,
we decide to tell ourselves are the words we live by, right?
absolutely. I love this. I love this. And just in the last couple of days, George, what I tried to do when I got up in the morning, I looked into the mirror. And
Mm-hmm.
today it was not a nice experience, but but I try to look at myself from an outer perspective. That sounds a bit woo or weird, but it is like I am not this um so I am
Yeah.
outside of who this body is. It's like a container, and whatever I fill in, and that is so in alignment with what you
Right.
say, what stories we tell ourselves. If I think I am in this container and I'm drowning in despair, in whatever comes my way, then I'm lost. But when I think I'm outside this container and I can look at this pink container or the purple one, and I see this in colors,
Yeah.
then I feel like, oh, that is interesting. It's something going on around being tired. That is interesting to watch. Then it becomes less like attached to what I feel, what I look
Mhm.
like. And it's no more worrisome thoughts that much than being in this container. I don't know if this is weird. And maybe
No.
it's because I'm so tired today that I tell
Mm.
you that stuff.
This is beautiful. Like for so long, and maybe it's my age or maybe it's the amount of psychedelics I do, but I found myself with this relationship with the third person. Maybe it's the language we speak. We all, maybe it is the language. Like there's something to be said about the subject object relationship. And so we train ourselves to see the world in this way, subject object. But what if it's more than that? Like, what if we are, in fact, this intelligence, this awareness outside of ourselves? That really helps you understand your emotional state. Like, that really helps you
Yeah.
understand the language you use. That really helps you understand, period.
Yeah, and that's what I started doing. And I tell you, so I really reveal a lot of stuff today. So we haven't really met before. And I told you about my story of
Yes.
just a little sleep. And I did this because of body issues that constantly haunt me. And I thought, like, no, I'm not this story. I'm
Right.
outside of this story. And I want to tell myself a different story. I don't want to be driven by the past and recreate the same story every day. And this is really coming from the bottom of my heart. I am so done with being inside the container and telling myself those victimhood
Yeah.
stories.
I love that. How did you get there though? It sounds like maybe you had to tell yourself a lot of stories before you finally got to this point of being aware, like, hey, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this happening? Like, maybe you can tell us a little bit about who you were before you became who you are. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So that is a long story.
I
So we
know.
have like 3 hours of airing
You have to come
time.
back. Yeah, next time it's not uncommon for me to talk to someone for 3 hours,
Okay.
So
No.
you will be coming back, I hope. But let us just be where do you want to take that? I'll throw it out to you and you can take it wherever you want to.
Yeah. So who was I? So I was several personas, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I feel I was the high-powered teacher and teacher's trainer who wanted to succeed, be a success, and make other people successful, be it teachers and kids. And I wanted to see the human beings they are. I always wanted to not put them under pressure. So that was almost 7 years ago when I left my teaching and teacher's trainer career. I really was focused on revolutionizing the system. What I did, I exhausted myself. I was very much in my head. I did a gazillion apprenticeships just for my own personal development because I felt I am like divided into two. The one you see that is sitting in front of the camera, shining her light, and the one that has aches and pains, that suffers from anxiety and depression and not being good enough. And so I think I did all these apprenticeships just to recover from being split in these two personas, and to really figure out what is it all about. Because very often I found myself not understanding why this is happening to me, and I couldn't see what is happening for me. Because digging deeper into my own stories, traumas, and whatnot, I managed to realize so many things. And I don't want to say that I'm there. I'm not there. But I do my very best to apply everything that I know for myself and for people I work with. And so just from being a teacher and teacher's trainer to being sick and out of work, parallel doing a lot of apprenticeships. So I think that that's over 20 apprenticeships, deep apprenticeships, not like weekend courses. I find myself where I am right now. And most of the time I have quite some good days. Sometimes I fall back into this, what's going on?
Yeah, it's slippery. It's very slippery. And sometimes you can hold it for a minute and get a good look at it, but then
Yeah.
gone right out of your hand. For some people that may be listening, they may hear that and be like, oh my gosh, this incredible woman has it all. Like, she has it all. And if they can see you, they're probably thinking the same thing. What does it mean when you say you're not there? Like, what does that mean?
I think there is always another layer, always another layer.
Okay.
And so just talking about body issues, talking about business, talking about being a parent, being a spouse, there is always another layer. And the minute you think, so that's just, I'm speaking for what I experience. The minute I think, yes, now I got it. Now I'm so well in my body, in my relationship, with my kids, with career, something feels awkward. Something is off. I wake up with this ache or this pain or some rash in my face,
Yeah.
or I have an argument with my husband, or something is off with the kids, or I just find myself, maybe that's not the right direction I should continue to go in my business. So this is what I mean with not there.
Yeah.
There is some attachment there. So I really feel that I know how to detach, but still there is attachment to, it should be like this, it should go like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a huge part of, I think it's a huge part of the reason why Odysseus tied himself to the masts. You know what I mean? Because he heard the sirens call that were like, come over here. Maybe the sirens call is like, it's never going to work. Maybe the
Yeah.
sirens call is like, you know what, George, you're too old. You know, maybe the sirens call is, maybe that's what the sirens were calling. You know, maybe it wasn't this lovely song that called them over, but what a great metaphor that is to think about the negative self-talk that happens in our minds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to me. What do you do to, like, do you have some techniques, like when you know you're not there, and whether it's a body ache or whether it's you second guessing something you're doing, like what are
So
your techniques to like solve that?
the one thing that I told you was this, just looking from this outside position at
Yep.
what I see in this
Right.
container. That's a body, that's organs, that's everything that I think about. Another thing that was really a life-saving, and I don't want to say method or tool, I'm not supposed to say that, it's really a model for growth. This is logosynthesis. I don't know if you ever heard about it.
Please tell me. I think of the word when I hear logos.
Yeah, so it is something about the language. And I am doubtful by nature. So I told you that I did all these apprenticeships. And over the course of time, I thought I might need a coach just for my own development. That was way back, like 6-7 years ago. And I live in a small town here, and I thought I'm going to pick the best of the best. I'm going to go to Munich and have this personality coach / psychologist, whatever, because I was constantly in my head. I was trapped. I couldn't really make whatever I took on in those apprenticeship, I couldn't make this apply to myself. And so I went there, which is 1.5 hours from here. I went there by car, and she was a quite nice person. And then after session 6, she said to me, Mrs. Lindner, I need to tell you something. I can't continue the work with you because you will never get there. There is no cure for you being in your head. Whenever we work through a session, in the end, you fall back into the old pattern. I can't do anything about that. I think that is so crusted that you are. So she didn't say that I'm lost, but she meant it. She
Oh,
meant it.
wow.
And I started crying. I started really bawling my eyes out. And she apologized, but then I left the practice and I went to my car and back on the highway, and the streets were clogged because of a traffic jam. And then I took my cell phone and I Googled for, how can I get out of the head? How can I unstuck myself? How can I get rid of all those crusted patterns? And one book fell into my arms that was about logosynthesis. And I read it. I immediately got in touch with the author, who is based in Berlin. And she offered me a logosynthesis session. And then I was so blown away that just after 1 hour, I felt liberated from one thing that kept haunting me. And so after quite some weeks, she invited me to do the apprenticeship, to become a practitioner and instructor in logosynthesis. That's what I did in Berlin and in Switzerland. And now this is a tool, technique, or a model for growth that I apply, I think, almost daily. I love working with it when I work with clients, and I apply it to myself And it functions this way that so everything is energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it could either be in a frozen state, so no waves, nothing is flowing, or it could be in the flow. When everything is in the flow and your energy bodies and everything is in this flow, you feel amazing. You feel like I have it all, I'm abundant, I'm healthy, I'm happy. When there are frozen patterns in your, I want to say aura, in your
Yeah.
energetic field, in your body, in your cells, then you feel depleted, you feel stuck, you feel like something is going on. I'm frustrated, I'm depressed. And logosynthesis just helps you get frozen energy patterns back into flow and into the right place, because oftentimes, and that's not woo stuff, because George, you might know that when you are around people that maybe take away your energy,
Mm-hmm.
or they put on their energy, their bad energy, into your field. So logosynthesis is doing that as well. It is helping you to get the energy into the right place. And that's just with 3 amazing sentences. And I was doubtful. It sounds weird, but it works.
Can you give me an example of those that verbal jujitsu that does it? Like, it seems like there's a relationship going on with the language you speak and your actions and the way in which you see the world. But maybe, is there an exercise that you and I can do that would be logocentric or logosynthesis?
So I think we could not do a deep exercise. I could invite people to Logosynthesis
Yeah.
Day, which is just on Thursday this week, which is
Yeah.
an amazing opportunity to really experience logosynthesis in breakout rooms. It's completely for free. What we can do, I can really tell you about how it worked. So I would love doing that, but it is diving deeper. That would make it a flat experience if we did it right
Mm.
now,
Mm.
because it is digging into the story that is going on. But we can pretend that there is a story, or I could tell you a story, a client story,
Sure.
that I can bring to the table. So
That or the
for,
mechanics, whatever. What do you think is better? Like, you can tell me the story about something happened, or you can talk to me about the mechanics of why it works. I think both of those would be fascinating.
so then maybe I combine these two. So there
Well
was
done.
there was a beautiful lady. She was a leadership. So she still is a leadership coach, a speaker, spiritually open. And I was on her podcast.
Mhm.
And in the end, after show, she said to me, "You talked about this logosynthesis thing, and you said that it can remove blockages. And I have one blockage going on, and I don't know where it comes from." And this is the beauty. This is a specialty of logosynthesis. You don't even have to know where it is, because psychologists make you go back to, or psychiatrists make you go back to experience, to maybe be re-traumatized. And she says, "I don't know what it is, but whenever I want to have a little bit more income, I want to crush the ceiling of how much I earn, I feel guilty. I feel," and that's what she said, "dirty.
Mm.
I don't know what this is, and this doesn't allow me to earn more money." So she had a good income, but she wanted to try to earn a bit more, and it didn't work. And so we met for one session, which is most of the time between 60 and 90 minutes long. And I talked to her and I listened carefully to what is going on. And she really couldn't recall anything from her past, or any sentences, anything around money. Oftentimes there is this belief that money is bad, money is the root of all evil. She didn't have this one. She said, I like money, but why do I feel so dirty?
Mm.
And I put her in, and this is why I said this would be like a flat experience, a surface level experience. I put her in this state where she went inside her inner pictures, and all of a sudden she told me, that is so weird. What I see now is a picture of myself standing in this cylinder that is like a tunnel, a cylinder, and it is covered with charcoal. And then she had some sensations in her body. That is very important. She felt so unwell in this cylinder, and it was so dirty. So a lot of charcoal. We applied the sentences. The first sentence is calling back the energy that she might have lost somewhere, might have given away.
Yeah.
In the second sentence, and she just focused on the sentences. She repeated the sentences aloud. The sentence number 2 sends away everything that is not her energy, everything she took on in all the dimensions, in all the bodies of her 3D reality, and it sends it to the right place, to where it really belongs. And sentence number 3 helps her release all the reactions, the stored reactions, the learned reactions, the repeated reactions to, and I inserted this picture of me standing in a dark cylinder covered with charcoal, or with charcoal walls. In the beginning, she had a stress level of 10 out of 10 because standing in this charcoal tunnel. And after the first round of logosynthesis, and it takes us between 4, 5 minutes or 6, she was like, okay, now the picture changed and the charcoal is still there, but it is not that thick layer of charcoal. And she felt lighter. And then we applied it several times. And in the end, the beauty was she could see her face being reflected in a glass that was immaculate. And she said, I'm such a beautiful soul. And she told me about her experience with money just in the aftermath of what we did. And she said, I could crush this ceiling, and I didn't have this feeling of guilt and shame and being dirty. And she doesn't know where it came from. And that's the beauty of it. She just had this picture. Maybe that's a bit abstract right now, but oftentimes people can't recall, don't want to recall an experience. And you could do logosynthesis. I could do it with you by you saying this scene that I don't want to share with you. And we could do that.
It's fascinating to me. When I hear that story, maybe this is my reflection of it, but like usually money seems to be inflated with or conflated with our values. And it seems like so many people are doing things for money. They're only like, most people get up and they go to a job, not because they want to, because they have to. They're doing it for money. I think that's where the dirtiness comes in. Like, you have to pay people to do things. Like, on some level of society, we're failing when the only reason people do things is for money. Like, it is dirty in some ways. But that's kind of getting way beside the point a little bit. But like, I can't help but think about that. Like, that's where we are right now. And I see all this charcoal around her. Like, is that like a symbolic of her dying and like being trapped in this world of rock? Like, it's so crazy to me to think. But it sounds, here's another thought I have too while I'm hearing this story, is that it sounds to me with logosynthesis, what you may be doing is fundamentally rewiring the brain in a short amount of time. It sounds like you're explaining neuroplasticity to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's happening fast. Like, how do you, I think science, whatever the heck that means, I think that there's a lot of, it would be fascinating to do brain scans, you get some neurofeedback during the logotherapy to see how that's changing the mind. What are your thoughts on neuroplasticity and logotherapy?
So I think you are so on spot. I think we should do that. And I just recently came across, so that's not neuroplasticity, but it is just measuring the heart coherence. And
Ooh, I love
yay! I I never had those wearables, but
Hello,
I
Susan
ordered one.
Brown. We're talking about you.
Yes, we are talking about Susan Brown.
Token of me.
I had an amazing conversation with her, and I know her from Anya Schibert. You know
Mm.
her too.
Shout out to
And
Anya. You're an amazing person too.
yay! And so I ordered this wearable, and I thought, like, I am not the
Right.
neuroplasticist. I am totally interested in how the brain can be rewired
Yep.
and everything. But maybe this is giving me some insights, and I want to try it out myself, just for what I do with myself. And maybe one day I could really do some testing around doing logo synthesis in groups or with clients, and how it changes their heart coherency. I don't know if this makes sense, but so I totally agree that it has to do with rewiring the brain and rewiring the energetic field. And the inventor, the CEO of logosynthesis, Willem Lammers, who is an amazing guy. He wrote several books. You can all check them out, because he does the deep stuff. He is a researcher. He is a psychologist, and he came across the benefits of applying logosynthesis in one of his sessions, as he is trained in NLP, in, I think, lots of modalities. And then all of a sudden it occurred to him that just the power of words, as words of frequency as well. And you said it in the beginning, George,
Yeah.
the stories we tell ourselves, when the connection between emotion and thought, and I think about bad connection, like really, there is, let's talk about money again. Money and all the dirtiness, the greediness and everything.
Yep.
When you can just disconnect what you feel and what you think from, when you just can get to a neutral point, then you are recreating something new. And then when you even fill in a new narrative, a positive one, a right one, a more aligned one with who you are and what reality is and what else is possible, then I think you rewire the brain and you change the heart coherency.
Yes, yeah, to all of it. Like my brain is starting to work 1,000,000 miles an hour. I bet you could write a formula. Like there's probably an equation. You probably use the golden ratio for this. Like, but I'm sure that there's a formula that you could put a number to, or maybe you could measure something between feeling and language. I bet you there's an equation we could use, and then that could enter the flow. So we should probably I'm going to talk to her pretty soon, but I bet you there's an equation in there that people could see. And when I see what Susan's doing too, I've seen some of the videos where she's peeling back and explaining all these different graphs and stuff like that. Maybe she already has that system down, but it sounds to me like that could be in that formula somewhere. It's like, okay, this is how we measure this is how we measure your language, the frequency of the word, the frequency of the adjectives, the type of adjectives you use versus the amount of hours that you're feeling depressed. Like there's probably a total formula in there that you could pull out and synthesize.
Yeah, and I think when you lose, I think there is a difference between the frequency of one word in comparison to another, because there are all those researches when I don't know who it. I think it was a Chinese researcher who did the thing about water. When he talked to water in a nice way, and you could see the beautiful crystals in water. And when he shouted and was angry with water, then the crystalline structure just changed into a much different thing that was not that beautiful. Or when you talk to plants in a beautiful way, in a loving and caring way. And so is it with oneself. That is, whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm so damn stupid," Whenever I hear
Yeah.
that, if it is my daughter
Yeah.
or if it is a friend, I say, what did you say? That's not true. Just talk in a different way about yourself.
Yeah. That's such a great point. That would be such a great video or such a great mental image for people to create on their own, is like, you're shattering the crystalline structure that is the beauty of you when you use language like that. And we should be there's a reason why some words are sharp, right?
Yeah.
Like it's already in the language. Like, that's a sharp word. What does that mean? It means it cuts to the bone. Like, there's all these euphemisms and stuff we have in language that explain why. We just haven't really taken the time to pull it out and show people. I think maybe we're on the cusp of that. Maybe that's what all these new changes are. Maybe that's what we're being called to do, is thoroughly understand how to communicate meaning in life.
And
What do you
and excuse me. It just drew me back to the beginning when I said I look at myself from the outside, because then I can fill beautiful language into this container. I can choose to be around people that add value to this container. Then I can leave out everything that lowers my frequency. And just yesterday, I got this beautiful reminder from my son when I shouted at the trains and the delays. And he said, how could it get any better than this? Mom, you are teaching this all the way and all the time. And now you are grumpy. It doesn't help you to be grumpy. It just harms you. And I was like, okay. My son, who is not spiritual in a way that you would say, oh, he's very spiritual. Sometimes he rolls his eyes because of what I do, but he reminded me of not harming myself, my soul, my body.
You are an awesome mom and an awesome person, it sounds like. Thanks for being so awesome like that. Like, yeah, it's totally ingrained in them. Like, obviously you're transmuting these values to them that they're probably gonna look back on later in life. Like, oh, my mom taught me that. Or maybe your grandkids, but maybe this speaks to the idea of, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. That's something my mom used to say.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lot of truth in that, right? Like, maybe whether it's in your head or whether it's somebody else, like, it does come back to language. And if you want to take it all the way back to Timaeus, we can talk about the logos, right? Do you know, like, what is the whole story behind the logo, the idea of, is there a relation between the logos and the founder, William Lamont?
William Lummers.
What's the story
Yes.
between him?
So when I recall the teachings, that is like 7 years ago, he speaks about even the biblical, in the beginning was the word, the power of the word. The word creates reality. Some people say you don't have to use the word because that's just a means of transportation. But I think he's so right. There is such a huge power in logos, in the word. And it is synthesizing, reordering in a good way what is in your field just through the power of words in such a rapid and sustainable way. And I had an interesting thought that is just going in maybe a much deeper direction.
Let's hear it.
When I heard you, I like the way you laugh. And going back to the fact that I was really drained in the morning, and we talking about energy and how our language, our surroundings, our thoughts could really change our frequency, our feeling, our health, our everything. Then I need to say that just this experience, being with you in this podcast, on this show, changes something for my reality. And I'm so grateful. I'm so really grateful for being on the show with you, because you made my day. And this is a very deep sentence in the way I say it to you.
I make me want to cry. Thank you. I I care deeply about the people that come on here. I want to hear what they have to say, because I think it's meaningful. And I want there to be more meaning in my life. And if I feel it in my life, then other people have to feel it in their life. And when I hear the story about the young lady who, talked about money and feeling dirty, like I think that our words and our stories, they really resonate with people. And we can all become that other person through our stories. Maybe that's the power of empathy, but it's powerful. And we should be listening to the things that we're suppressing. This young lady probably held on to that for a long time. And it needs to come out. Like when that comes out, other people get to feel a form of release when that happens, and we bottle it up and people go crazy. Like now I'm birdwalking. Thank you for that compliment. It hits home. I was having a tough day, and you know what? I appreciate honest feedback like that. So thank you for that.
So beautiful. And see, the sun is coming out for me. I need to just adjust.
Of course.
The shades.
Oh, wonderful. It's so wonderful. What is it with peacocks? You have, I see all this iconography behind you, and all these pictures that you have, and I'm looking you up and I'm seeing these things. What is it? Something particular about their behavior? Is it the feather? What is it?
So first of all, thank you for noticing it. And it became one of my symbols. And just in an early stage of being in business, I did those meditations, and I saw myself, because I always felt like I'm not good enough. I can't survive on the market. I'm not a native speaker. Maybe I'm speaking too slow. Who am I to be out there? Who am I to change people's lives? So that was that. And I did a lot of meditations. That is way back. And I remember that I did this meditation when I saw my future self. And I just recently thought about that. And I saw myself in this long coat, like a dress made out of peacock feathers. When I saw myself in this embodied version of being empowered, of standing in my power, being strong and radiating what I want to spread in the world. And I was like, oh, nonsense back then. A peacock coat, a peacock dress. That is hilarious. And
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
It was beautiful. I even painted it, and I loved it. And then I was like a bit shying away. Oh, that is about being proud of who I am.
Yeah.
And in the end, it is. But back then, I couldn't take it. And just now, it's 1 year ago, almost 1 year ago, I thought about launching another podcast, because I did a podcast years and years ago, which was called Soulful Dialogues. I just recorded Zoom dialogues and I sent them out to Facebook. I didn't edit them. I didn't brand them. I didn't do anything with Soulful Dialogues. But people must have watched Soulful Dialogues, because some of them reached out after years and said, when are you bringing out another episode? And I said, an episode of what? I don't have anything to bring out. I don't have a podcast. And they said, yes, Soulful Dialogues. And then I thought, maybe I can start something new. And now we need to make another shout out to the amazing Jason Croft. I don't know if you know him.
I do now.
Yes, he is one of the most amazing people that I met on my business path. And now we became friends, and he is the producer and editor of my show. And we brainstormed, we heartstormed, and we talked about magnificence and the word magnificence. And at that time, peacock feathers came my way. I participated in an artistic event, and someone sent me peacock feathers by mail. I could just show them to you. So I had peacock feathers in the mail, and we talked, and Jason said, that is a wonderful idea for Magnificence. And then he created this picture that
Yeah.
is his creation. He created it online, and I made it my background as a real picture. And I feel so connected to the facets of the peacock, because it is the beauty.
Yeah.
It is the standing in the power and showing who you are. And this doesn't make people look away. When a peacock just opens this fan, you need to look at
Yeah.
the peacock. Then what I love about the peacock is that the feathers look like eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are beautifully like organized, I want to say, and connected. And there is this aspect of connection. So they are connected to each other. So they stand alone, they radiate their unique light, and they are connected. And they can be shown, and they can be just put away, relaxed, being in the cave, being in darkness, and then again showing up and showing your gifts, your magnificence. And I think it goes well with the word magnificence.
Thank you. That is beautiful. And it speaks volumes of the way in which you describe the symbolic meaning of that, to me, could be a reason why people in your life may want to stand in the background and be magnificent, or be comfortable standing in the background and being magnificent. It's fascinating to me. And if we go a little deeper on the idea of that idea, I don't have enough time. We got 10 minutes. Otherwise, I will go deep into this one. When you come back, we'll talk about it. But so how is it like having people come to you and like, so you've made this transformation, and now you have your own clients, you got your podcast, you have so much going on, but now people are coming to you and you are actually able to help them with logo synthesis. What does that feel like?
So it is not so. Just to add another layer, it is logo synthesis is one part. I do the human design chart readings, and I would love to have you on my Magnificence show and look at your human design. There is a multitude of things that I can do for clients, but it is about clarity. It's about ease, and it's about direction, seeing their own magnificence. And so I don't know if I'm going off topic right now, but what I had on my mind when you talked about let's go deeper, I thought about, yes, I need to share this. Yeah. Because you said the transition when I started being an entrepreneur, and that is in quotation marks because I feel I wasn't the entrepreneur in the beginning. It was more like a hobby. And I stopped being a teacher. I booked thousands and thousands of expensive courses, programs around business. And one of them, again, guided me through meditation. What is my purpose? What am I here to share? And the lady did the meditation, and she took us into the heart space. And she said, and when you enter this portal in your heart, then you are going to discover your mission, your purpose, what you are here to share. And I went into my heart space, and believe me or not, George, it was dark. It was pitch black. And I was starting to really freak out just internally, because this meditation was beautiful. Okay, I'm here to do nothing because it is dark. And then I just thought about, why don't I just with my inner eye look for matches in my pocket, or maybe just light the space. And I had this lighter in my pocket just in this meditation. And what I saw when I lit the space, I saw treasure troves standing around and people standing behind those treasure troves. And the treasure troves were filled with pearls and gold and sparkling stuff. And they were standing behind that. And I got it. It is showing people how magnificent they are, showing people what their gifts are. And you asked me, and I try to make it like full circle. What does this feel? It feels like really making an impact on people's lives, helping them see the full spectrum of who they are, helping them dig deeper into who they really are at the core, which they couldn't see. And again, when we talk about the power of the word in a different context, when I speak to them, when I'm in their presence, I always see the hidden beauty, the hidden treasures, the hidden gems that they might not be able to see right now. And for me, this really is a mission. That's not a job. That's not my career. That is something that I wanted to do with the kids I worked with at school. There are now dumb kids and intelligence kids. So they are just individuals, and every individual shines their light in a different way. And so it feels like really being on my mission. That is what it feels. And it gives me so much when I see people step into the limelight, step into their power, step into their hidden gems, and really get the validation from the work when everything that might not serve them through logosynthesis, when we just take away the layers that might not serve them, when they see how beautiful they are. Talking about the lady in the cylinder and the charcoal, she saw her beauty. For me, that is like soul food.
It's a wonderful answer. So glad you answered it like that. Like what comes to my mind is all of a sudden I see the peacock standing there, and then it fans. First off, it's just standing there. Like, are you watching me? Watch this. And then there's all these eyes watching back at you. Like, it's impressive. And and just like this, an hour has already passed. Like, it's like that. You know what I mean? But don't worry, you'll be back, and I can't wait to learn more about this. But before I let you go, I wanted to give you a few minutes to talk about where people can find you. What do you have coming up and what you're excited about?
Yeah, so people can find me on LinkedIn, of course, just under my name, Patricia Lindner. And I am on Pick My Brain. Shout out to Maxine Cunningham. You know her as well. I offer human design chart readings for free when people go to my Pick My Brain page, because I want to really give this gift away so that people can see how amazing they are. And then I have a website that is www.patricialindner.com, and they can find everything about me. They can get in touch with me. They can reach out on all the channels that I have out there. And I would love to really get to know more amazing people and more people that are willing to step into their power and shine their light.
That's so wonderful. I think everybody listening to this, if you're watching it, then go down to the show notes and check it out. If you're listening to it after the podcast is over, or just go over to the show notes and check it out and reach out to her. If you're at all intrigued about the idea of what is possible, then go and book a call with her, check her out. And I really enjoyed this conversation, and I can't wait to learn more about who you are, the ideas that you have, and the services you provide. I think that the people you surround yourself with are amazing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And I don't know if I am allowed to just
Of course. Anything.
add another layer. I just saw that Thomas was on or is on.
Shout out to Thomas
Do you
over
see
here.
that?
Yes, I can.
And he said, be sure to ask for a card. That is so beautiful. That's so sweet. Because that is another of my woo aspects. And I love doing that. I don't know if you are into cards. That is not one of my main services, but I love oracle cards.
What kind of cards?
Oracle cards, you know about them? I have. So if I switch the camera around, you see around about 50 card decks. And you know why I have them? I am an artist, and I love the beauty of the cards and how they can speak to people's souls, hearts. And maybe just to finish that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So you are the host. I just could walk over and pick
Yeah,
one.
please. We can't
Just
let it
for
go without seeing
everyone.
them. Yeah.
Just for everyone who is watching, pulling one card. So I need
Yeah,
to just
please do.
walk
Yeah.
over.
It's magnificent.
It is. And I don't know why I'm drawn to
Let's see.
pick that card deck. So see, this is for one of the many. And I thought we are really talking about so many sacred things and
Yeah.
rebellious things,
I love it.
changing the world. And I haven't worked with this deck for a while, but just pulling a card with the intention that it may serve those who watch this show.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Yes. And when I pull a card, I need to close my eyes because I really feel what card it is that is correct and serving people.
Yeah. Thank you. And Thomas, thank you for making this happen.
This one. Ooh. Does Facebook allow us to show naked
Absolutely
pictures?
Whoa! That is a great card.
It is against the grain. And for further meaning, so it is underwater. That is interesting. Underwater, and you see in the background there are birds. And the lady is swimming underwater. And maybe, and I hope that this is true, I need to check it out. So there is a long text, but just grabbing the overall meaning.
Yeah.
Just give me a second.
Sure, take your time.
Against the grain. So I don't read out everything, but what it says is you want birds to be able to fly underwater. You want love to trump over. You want humanity to relate to each other as equals and to recognize the sacredness in you and in the world around you. You want to unleash the beauty that hides in even the ugliest of scenes or sentiments. You want to make possible what others say cannot be. You are a radical dreamer, a sacred rebel, and you bring the light of a more positive future to the world. And then there is much more. Hey, what a beauty this card is. It is really just summing up what we talked about.
It makes me want to cry when you read that. I was like, yes. Yeah. Everything you said, I'm like, yes. It's so beautiful.
Let's be sacred rebels and make birds fly underwater.
Thomas says that's literally the intro to George's podcast. It's so true. Thank you, Thomas, for knowing that. It's so amazing.
Amazing. Wow. What a synchronicity.
I don't believe in those, right? Like it's more than that. Like, what does that mean? Like, what do we have time to? It's already an hour. You have 2 more minutes?
This is 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay, fantastic.
I love it.
Okay, so what is going on with synchronicity? Like, what does that mean, you think? Like we just saw this thing happen. Like, it was a real life synchronicity happen. Like, what is that?
So for me, it is really, so everyone has those synchronicities.
Yeah.
They are not coincidences. And I think most of the people, they think it's a coincidence when something happens. But for me, it is synchronicity. That is universe showing you that this is in alignment, and this is showing you you are on your path.
Yeah.
You are on your mission. That is so true. That's just a confirmation. And I think, again, it's about energy and frequency. It is just the answer to what you radiate that comes to you. So it is like the inside, so the outside. So that's it for me. What is it for you?
I think of the logos. I think of the way in which the ancient Greeks spoke about the logos talking to them. I think that's what they're talking about. I think that is the word. I think nature speaks to us through us. I think that you can see divine things happen in nature and it's trying to communicate to you. And that's what these synchronicities are, whether you look at the clock and it's 4:44, or you
Yeah.
pick up the phone and somebody's there. Like, this is the world communicating to you on a level, trying to make you conscious. Maybe you're becoming conscious of it now if you're listening to this, or maybe you already are. But I think that that's what these are. And it is. It's something that you and I get to share, and Thomas and everybody that made this thing happen. Like, maybe that's us coming together to get to see these small miracles to help us understand we are on the right path, and that we're doing something good. And maybe it's the lighter in your pocket in your dream. You know what I mean? Maybe it's all those things.
Yeah. And I just, when I listened to your voice, I literally saw this connection. So you are in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Jason is in Colorado. Maxine is in Vancouver. Anya is in Slovenia. Did I forget? Thomas is in the UK.
Yeah.
There is this, I'm in Germany, there is this worldwide web of connections, of love, of like-minded, like-hearted,
Yeah.
and heart-centered people.
It's
That's
so
really
nice
a web around the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and we're shedding a little bit of light on it now. Like, it goes so deep. We should get them all on here and start.
Yeah, and I just thought there are so many more people that we could mention that we might know both, and that we love and that we appreciate. So everyone that we didn't mention included.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This is really fun. I really enjoy talking to you, and I'm looking forward to coming on and talking to you on, maybe I can come on your podcast. You can do my chart for me, and we can have a deeper conversation. You can come back with some other people, and we can maybe test out this whole, see how sturdy the web is, and talk to people on the other side of the web, and it'll be really fun.
Let's do that. Let's make that happen.
Okay, before I let you go, what is the name of your website? Or
my website is www.patricialindner.com.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, go to the show notes. Check it out. Thank you for playing a huge part in our conversation today. That's all we got. Hang on slightly afterwards, Patricia. I'll talk to you real briefly afterwards. But to everybody else, thank you so much. Thomas, Mark, everybody that chimed in over here. We love you guys. Thank you for everything. Aloha.